Nothing's more important, however, than this dropout challenge that we're here to talk about today. We're proud to see the rate again. The dropout rate is calculated by the department down for the second year in a row at 2.9%. Historically, the first time below 3% in a long, long time, in decades. And it wasn't just a one-year blip. It's now, we sustained it for a second year. And yet still, thousands upon thousands of students dropping out each year. Much more work for us to do. So this goal needs to be high, prominent, and urgent. The new policy brief gives us practical information about promising practices, which is particularly important at a time when school and district leaders need to make tough decisions about how to optimize each dollar. Notwithstanding our best efforts on the budget, we know it's still going to be tough at the local level to find the dollars to do what needs to be done and to keep pace with inflation in so many categories. Many of the recommendations discussed in this report echo findings, and you, those of you who participated, will recognize in our Graduation and Dropout Prevention Recovery Commission. And this just provides additional support and intelligence on how a number of these recommendations can and have been operationalized. We need to get to the ground and be focused on strategy, how we get this work done, rather than simply identifying the work that needs to be done. The brief echoes the Commission's recommendation to develop sustainable funding mechanisms for dropout prevention and recovery efforts. And now more than ever, we're sympathetic to the challenges districts face in this regard. This is an issue we're investigating at the state level, and we commend districts and schools that have persevered and continue to find the necessary resources to support their priorities and goals. You may know that on the heels of the Dropout Commission, when we announced the report but really had no funds with which to enact many of the provisions that were part of it, we made an appeal to the philanthropic community and to social entrepreneurs across Massachusetts. And I'm happy to say a number have come forward and are working with us on initiatives to make additional dropout programming available to a number of districts across the Commonwealth, and we hope to have some announcements on that in the not-too-distant future. We in the Patrick Murray administration, along with our partners, have been working to support implementation of the Commission's recommendation within the context of current budget constraints. For example, last year Massachusetts was one of 6 states to receive a grant from the National Governors Association to refine our statewide strategy to increase graduation rates and reduce dropout rates. The project's leadership team, comprised of staff from EOE, ESE, the Boston PIC, ComCore, and the Executive Office of Labor and Workforce Development, has worked with stakeholders to develop a series of action steps that will operationalize the Commission's recommendations. These actions pertain to the following 4 overarching categories: analyzing and using data, student retention and recovery, multiple pathways, and ongoing support of statewide initiatives. As part of the NGA grant award, Massachusetts districts received analyses of their dropout data by Dr. Bob Balfounds, a national expert with whom I know a number of you are familiar, on research related to the dropout issues. His segmentation study findings present the academic and non-academic characteristics of districts' dropout populations, which will help these communities to develop appropriate and targeted prevention, intervention, and recovery strategies. Through the NGA grant and additional resources from the Commonwealth Corporation, the 5 participating districts will receive support in using their findings to develop strategies to address their identified needs. Massachusetts Early Indicator Warning System, the Early Warning Indicator Index, was successfully piloted in 24 urban districts and is currently available statewide, providing all districts with accurate data on their at-risk youth in grade 8. The index is being expanded to include additional indicators and will include data for students in all grades K through 12 by 2012. Federal funds from both the Longitudinal Data System grant and Race to the Top have helped with this expansion. And of course, this is about identifying who's at risk. The main thing is, what do we do once we get that diagnosis? What do we do when we see who is at risk? What are the strategies that we apply to make a difference and to change their likely course? Last fall, Massachusetts was one of 2 states to secure an award in the U.S. Department of Education's highly competitive high school graduation initiative grant competition, which will bring $15 million to the Commonwealth to fund dropout prevention and recovery strategies over 5 years. Key project activities include creating a state high school graduation coalition, expanding dropout prevention and recovery group work, implementing research-based practices in the HSGI school cohort, and establishing 3 new gateway college sites. So all this is very exciting, and we're proud and pleased to have the resources that will enable us to make some headway here. We're working hard to promote and support multiple pathways to diploma, college and career readiness through initiatives such as innovation schools, STEM, early college high schools, the Gateway to College, and mass grad projects. We're working with members of the social innovation community to strengthen partnerships between districts and proven nonprofit organizations as a component of a comprehensive, cohesive district dropout prevention and recovery strategy. The factors that contribute to the dropout crisis are complex, and they require comprehensive solutions. These are not solely school problems, as you know, and that's part of our whole theory of action in the Readiness Project and in this administration. Schools need support and the expertise of external partners, community-based organizations, mental health providers, social service organizations, employers, to move the needle. And I think one of the most important challenges we have is how do we provide the connective tissue? How do we provide the day-to-day operational support and working relationships that enable all the well-intentioned partners that we have in our respective communities and across the Commonwealth to come together to work in effective, efficient ways for the benefit of children, especially those most at risk, most likely to drop out, or those who've already dropped out who we're trying to bring back into the system. So we talk at high levels, gatherings like this, about the nature of collaboration that we have to engage in order to do this work. But the real challenge is not making it work or seem sensible from an intellectual standpoint. It does. It's a no-brainer. It's an easy thing to nod your head to. But really, it's who wakes up every morning and makes sure this work happens. How do we do this interagency, inter-silo work? How do we actually make collaboration a reality rather than an aspect of rhetoric? We're eager to continue this important work. We can't do it without the support of those of you in the audience who provide us high-quality research on this topic, who are forceful advocates for youth of all ages, who are practitioners and teachers and education leaders in the field, who are policymakers who help make the policies that frame our whole conversation and our whole system. It will only be through collaboration within and among ourselves and between all of our respective constituents in the field and constituent agencies that we'll be able to tackle this. So I commend the work that you're going to be discussing today. Know that the Patrick Murray administration is foursquare behind this. This is a very high priority for us. We want to know ways that we can be more effective and efficient, particularly in these strained budgetary times, and working with you on this. We thank you for your service and your effort and look forward to the struggles ahead. Thank you very much.